And good evening everybody, welcome back to another playthrough of Steins Gate Zero, live and exclusive here to YouTube. I am your host Swishmo for the remainder of the evening. For those of you who've never been here before and you've never checked out this channel, here we like to do a few live Let's Plays, bad jokes, live reactions, live chat, and generally hang out and have fun together. For those of you who've been here before for the previous parts of Steins Gate Zero, who were here for the New Year Games Jam with my special friend at NerdyHound, whether you were here for Danganronpa all those years ago, all the Persona games, or many more, a huge welcome back, because without you guys, there'd be a channel, it just wouldn't be as engaging as it is. Now, in the last stream, of course, we did get onto that big moment where it seems our former self has come back from the shadows, and Hori Kyoma is ready to fight along with the fellow madmen. So let's get out there and let's see exactly what's going to happen in the next part of Promised Rinascimento. Rinascimento? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, to be honest. Either way, let's get going. A full day had passed as the operation began. Dara still hadn't managed to break the lock on that folder. Thankfully, they hadn't detected him yet, but that didn't mean we were safe. While Dara did his work, I finished my own, and then headed the rest off to Maho. My actions might have changed the future already, but we still had to do our jobs. Susaha had her arms crossed, expression stern. She had been that way for a while. At a glance, she looked calm, but I could see her tapping her arm with her index finger. Uncle, is there nothing I can do? We were finally ready to stop the Third World War. It had to bother her that there was nothing she could do. It had to be stopped as soon as possible, but all she could do now was wait. So she couldn't do anything, but she could wait. Am I being that guy? Yeah, I'm being that guy. I am. She was frustrated and on edge. But that was true of everyone else. Just wait a little longer. Daru and Maho are doing their best. Once Maho completed what I'd asked for, there would be something we could do too.
I gotta go get us something sweet to eat, Nia. Sweets are great when you're tired, Nia.
Oh, then I'll go too. Just as the two of them stood up, the development room's curtain opened. Maho flinched a little as everyone stared at her, but she quickly smiled and thought better of it, and tried to look more serious.
Gee, you didn't have to ask me to do this all at once, right?
Sorry, so, is it done?
I did what you told me to, I guess.
The microwave in the back was connected to a different headset than the one I'd seen last year. Meanwhile, Snowbear jumping into the chat saying, have I noticed a brand new Danganronpa game released on the Switch yesterday? What do you mean, Danganronpa S or another one? It's like this, if it's literally just announced out of nowhere, that's news to me. I can't say I've seen that unless it's Danganronpa S, which is tied into the Decadence compilation, which was, I think, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa Goodbye Despair, and Danganronpa V3, I believe. We were discussing it on the New Year Games Jam stream, but if that's what it was, then cool. But if there's a totally new Danganronpa, go team, I guess. It was the same one she'd used to take my memories. That's why she'd been able to finish this in such a short time. A time leap machine. So it was done then. Now, even if I had to time leap from the future, I could go back to 48 hours from now.
And this too.
She offered me a pair of smartphones. These gadgets would be our secret weapons in the upcoming battle. I had Maho make them too. They used a simple AI to create a pseudo-response algorithm that would deceive our opponents. Wow! I can't believe you managed an AI in such a short time.
自分で頼んでおいてよく言うわ。
You were the one who told me to do it.
Her face looked exhausted.
アマデウスで使っている音声ソフトがあったから流用して開発期間を短縮したの。
I had the voice software I used for Amadeus, so I was able to build it quicker.
それにこれは AI なんて大層な代物じゃない。
And this isn't anything as complicated as an AI.
こんなものでごまかせるのかしら。相手はクリスなのよ。
You really think you can fool her with this? It's Chris we're talking about here.
Yeah, Snobby, you say you think it's new. It's called Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp. I believe that is essentially an extended version of a bonus game from one of the other titles. However, from what I heard, you couldn't buy it separately. You had to buy it with Danganronpa Decadence. Unless they've now actually released it as a standalone title. And if they have, that's awesome. Because I've decided what my next stream is going to be. Yes, I have a copy of it. Because I also have one of these. I now own an OLED. Trying to get it on camera so you can see it. So yes, once I'm done with Steins Gate 0, I will be doing the good old Shin Megami Tensei 5. And if Danganronpa S can be bought separately from Decadence, that may also be a future stream as well.
少しの時間だけでも騙せればそれでいいんだ。ダルのハッキングから連中の目をそらせればそれでいい。
We just had to deceive her for a short time. All we need to do is keep their eyes off Daru's hacking. Three houses? What do you mean 3 houses, Snowbather? What do you mean 3 houses? I'm confused. The goal was just to keep Stratfor confused. We didn't need to hold a long conversation. We just hook it up for a short time and end the call shortly afterward. It was time to get started. But first... I hit the send button on a message I'd already typed to Korea Moika. Just do it like we discussed. Yes, Snowbaver, I did indeed get one all of a sudden after the New Year's stream. The New Year's Game Strat Jam was kind of what made me decide to go for it, because I was debating getting one for a while. Not only for SMT5, but also because I did want to play Metroid Dread, which I also own, and I have played it. I don't think it would work that well as a stream now, because I've got one area into it, so I kind of know what's going on. It made quite a good blind stream, but I had to play something in the interim. And it also means that, looking to the future, when I have to go into the office more, once we're in that position, I'd like something to be able to distract the time on the train. Being able to play the likes of SMT5 and that. Ah, you say you don't know what game it was? Maybe I didn't hold it up properly. There you go. What I'm trying to do here is get it close enough to the screen, but also avoid getting my ring light reflection. Because look what happens, you can't see anything. So, that's why I'm holding it this way. But yes, that is SMT5. I have a physical copy. Now the idea for what I do that stream is to play it from the point where we ended it on the New Year's stream part 2, which was relatively early in. But the issue I've got is, I like playing the game in Japanese voices, and in the cutscenes, you can't slow down the dialogue, so I won't be able to do English voices. So I might have to do a weird hybrid, where I don't do voices sometimes and do voices the other ones.
では作戦の概要を説明する。
I will now explain the operation. Suzuha, Mayuri, Faris, Lukaku. I offered them the phones they'd just been given by Maho.
4人には2人1組になってもらう。
I'm going to have you pair off.
そうしたらこのスマホを持って都内を動き回ってくれ。
Then I want you to take these phones and move around the city. Well, I won't do any spoilers then, Snowbear, if you've not played Metroid Dread yet, other than to say one thing. It's a love letter to Super Metroid. It's a traditional Metroid in all the best ways. I'm really impressed by it, I really like it. And the fact that when I checked on Metacritic and it got 88% tells you that it must be quite highly rated.
ペア同士はできるだけ離れた方がいいな。片方の組は中央線沿線、もう片方は山手線沿線ということにしよう。
It would be best to have the pairs as far apart as possible. One pair could take the Chuo line, and the other could take the Yamanote line.
お互いに連絡を取り合いつつ、スマホにインストールされているアマデウスというアプリを立ち上げてくれ。
Stay in touch and use the app on the phones called Amadeus. While Dario was doing his hacking, I had left Akihabara and tried to contact Amadeus from Tokyo Station, and it had worked. Chris had responded. I'd cut it off instantly, but I was sure of it. The app was still working, and this plan was going to use it.
立ち上げてどうするの？
What do we do once it's running?
アマデウスはマキセ・クリスという人物の記憶をもとに作られた人工知能だ。
Amadeus is an AI made from the memories of a girl named Makise Kurisu.
俺たちは今からそいつを騙す。
We're going to deceive her. That's right. Our goal was to deceive Chris. When we contacted Amadeus, the enemy would know where we were. My plan was to take advantage of that fact.
アマデウスを立ち上げると同時にもう一つのプログラムが起動する。
When you start up the Amadeus app, it will start another program too.
もう一つのプログラムってなんだにゃ？
What's the other program, Nia?
So you just finished playing Plague Tale Innocence, but the gameplay's not great, but the story's awesome. And you're now playing Steam World Dig. Steam World Dig, that reminds me of, it almost makes me think of Steamboat Willie for some reason. I doubt Disney have anything to do with the game you're playing, though, Snowbearer.
そこの S ってマークのあるアイコンをタップしてみてもらえる？
Can you hit the icon with the S right there?
これかにゃ？
This, Nia?
Faris tapped her phone.
俺だ。
Hello, it's me.
オカリンの声だ。
Wow, it's Okarine's voice.
話しかけてみてくれ。
Try talking to it.
今日はどうしたんだにゃ？
What's up, Nia?
特に用はないんだ。少し話がしたくなってな。
Nothing really. I just wanted to talk to you a little.
すごい。自動的に答えてくれるんですね。
Wow, it automatically answers, huh?
What I'd asked Maho to make was a simple program that detected the words in a conversation and replied with set patterns. You could call it an artificial non-intelligence, or as we got to call them, a bot, who liked to invade streams and offer the ability to buy views for so many pounds per month. Yes, they basically created bots, that's what they've done here.
オカリンさんと私のボット、名付けてサリエリよ。
And the game owns up to it at least. I'll give the game credit.
It's a bot made by Ocarine and myself. We call it Salieri.
Thanks to the famous movie, Salieri was known as a lesser man with an inferiority complex, but in reality he was a very talented composer. It felt a bit rude to the real Salieri to give his name to something like this, but there wasn't time to worry about that now.
アマデウスを起動すると、俺たちのボットが自動で返事をしてくれるようになっている。
Once you activate Amadeus, our bot is set to automatically respond to it. Oh, that's interesting. So, you're kind of like a robot who inherits minerals from your uncle and you try to upgrade the town with it. It sounds kind of like a mecha version of Minecraft, but that might be doing a massive disservice to the game, so I apologise if that's what I've just done there.
つまり相手に今喋っているのは岡部さんだって思わせるということですか？
In other words, we can make them think that it's you talking.
そういうことだ。
That's right. Which meant Amadeus would think I was where they were. I would have liked to have had more terminals, but since Amadeus needed the cell phone to be registered with its systems, there weren't many I could use. All I had were my phone and Maho's, but for a short time period it would be enough. Of course, Maho's phone had her own version of Salieri, and then there was the message I'd sent to Moeka's line. The plan was for her to spread information indicating that Maho and I had Karisa's laptop and hard drive. Even if they were doing the memory experiments, they still wouldn't want someone else getting their hands on them. Sooner or later, they'd pick up on that information and come after me with everything they had. Amadeus was in their hands. If Amadeus' location data told them I was there, they would come looking. But we wouldn't be there at all. And then they'd get a call from someplace completely different and head there. The plan was to keep them occupied with that, and keep their eyes off the server hacking.
以上が今回の任務となる。
That is your mission! Everyone nodded.
くれぐれも言っておくが、アマデウスとの長時間の接触は厳禁だ。
I'll say again, you must absolutely not make contact with Amadeus for an extended period of time.
それからアマデウスを切った後はすぐにその場を移動すること。何かあったらすぐに連絡をよこすこと。
And once you hang up, you need to move. If something happens, call me immediately. It takes 2's 50% off. Can't say that's on my playlist, I'm afraid. It takes 2. I don't know why, it's just a game I'm not really been interested in.
これだけは絶対に守ってくれ。わかったな。
You need to do these things no matter what. Got it?
私はどうすればいいのかな？
What should I do? Kagami raised her hand hesitantly.
君は連中に顔も知られている。ここから動かない方がいい。
They know your face. You should stay here.
でも私だって何か役に立ちたいよ。ママやみんなが頑張ってる中で一人何もできないでいるなんてそんなの嫌だよ。
But I want to help too. I don't want to do nothing while Mummy and everyone else are helping. Well, this was a problem.
お願い、オカリンさん。私にも手伝わせて。
Please, Ocarine, let me help too. I understood how she felt, but I still couldn't put her in danger.
すまないが。
I'm sorry, but...
かがりちゃん。マユシーがかがりちゃんの分まで頑張るよ。だから、オカリンの言う通りにして。ね。
Kagari, Mayushi's gonna work hard for you too. So do as Ocarine says, okay?
ママ。
Mommy.
わかった。ママがそう言うなら。
Okay, if you say so, Mummy. That seems to be good enough for her. How much did I pay for the Switch knob over? Just north of £300, but it's a Switch OLED. It's about 305 I paid for it in the end, I think. Not sure what that is in euros, or dollars to be honest. It's money I could afford. That's all I'm going to say. And that's the excuse I'm going to give. No one's asking any more questions.
おじさん、かがりには全てが終わるまでどこかに隠れさせておくべきじゃないか？
Uncle, shouldn't we hide Kagami somewhere until this is all over? And before you ask, actually, by the way, Snow, I did look around for used ones. They were selling for about £2 cheaper than brand new. I did not see the point in buying a used one when the difference between a brand spanking new one fresh out of the box was only a couple of quid. I still don't understand why stores think they're going to make any money on that. The only thing I can think of is that people must nick them. Or something. Because if you trade it in, and they're selling it for like £300, they're going to give you no more than 2. You might as well sell it yourself online via eBay for 250 quid, if you really don't want it.
そうだな。だが、どこに
Maybe, but where? If we were going to hide her, it would have to be at Lukaku's house, or Faris's place.
なんなら僕の隠れ家にでも行く？
Why not go to my hideout?
隠れ家？お前、そんなもの持ってるのか？
Hideout? You've got a hideout? Yeah, he told you that's where he was working on the laptop. Were you not listening earlier?
バイト用にいくつかあるんよ。そこでよければどうぞ。
I got a lot of them, thanks to my job. If you want one, it's yours.
よし、決まりだ。係もそれでいいか？
Alright, then it's settled. Are you okay with that, Kagari?
わかった。
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, Snowbale, you're not wrong. By getting one traded, you're also running the risk of something being wrong with it. I agree with you. That's why I got mine fresh out of the box. It's brand new. I'm the first person to use it, aside from some playtester somewhere at a factory. So I've definitely got for I definitely went for the new one for that reason. Meanwhile, Iris and Jack jumping in on stream saying, great to be back here again, and how's everyone's start to the 2022 so far? So far, I've not had any fires myself. I had my first day back at work today, which went pretty good, and my last couple of streams have done okay too. I've also decided that we're going to continue with Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's going to be my next stream after I am done with Steins Gate 0, because, Arista Jack, I splurged the cash and got one. I now have a Nintendo Switch OLED. I'm liking the white, by the way. The white and the black. All the others seem to be red and blue, whereas mine's white. The problem is that my lounge now has a white PS5, a white Nintendo Switch, a white Xbox 360, and 2 white Sega Dreamcasts. It's like I've gone all white. No, I still got Jonathan Roster as well. Or white. The issue was that I couldn't leave Kagari alone.
私にも何かやらせてもらえませんか?
Is there something I could do?
Huh? I turned around and saw that at some point, Yuki had entered the room.
ユキさん。
Yuki.
橋田さんからここの鍵預かっていたので。
Hashida gave me the key to the lab.
She showed us the key in her hand apologetically. And Aris and Jack, I've actually really liked enjoying playing around with it. It's nowhere near as powerful as the PS5. Absolutely nowhere near it. I wouldn't even say it's quite as powerful as the PS4. But what I will say is that being able to dock it in my lounge and play on my computer, my TV is nice. And today, because I was waiting for my stream and I had to make sure everything was set up early, I had like 15 minutes with nothing to do. Pulled out the Switch. It was quite a nice little time killer. I do feel about like I'm 9 years old again though, because I've only got 2 games for it. SMT 5 and Metroid Dread. I've got the dark games, the nasty games.
ゆうべ橋田さんに連絡したら、なんだか大変そうだったから、差し入れようと思って持ってきたんだけど。
And last night, I called him and he seemed like he was really busy with something. So I brought him some snacks.
She put the key away and showed us a bag with the logo of a local cake shop on it.
事情はよくわかりませんが、何かできることがあるならと思って。
I don't know what's going on, but I was hoping there's something I could do.
でもさ、アマネシを巻き込むわけには。
We can't get you involved.
いや、係と一緒にいてもらうだけだ。問題ないだろう。
No, she just has to stay with Kagari. It should be fine. Oh, nice move there, Akabe. drop Kagari's name in to fish to see if Yuki Amane was the one who attacked the lab after all. Before, I thought that it was maybe Yuki who'd attacked the lab. But looking back, that was wrong. If she was the woman in the motorcycle suit, there was no need to do something so elaborate. She could have just used the fact that she was in the same circle as Kagari to invite her somewhere and kidnap her. There was no need to take the risk of attacking the lab.
すまなかった。
Thanks.
じゃあ、ユキさんはカガリと一緒にいてくれ。
Alright, Yuki, you stay with Kagari.
すべてが終わるまで、ダルの隠れ家に身を潜めてもらうことになる。
I want you staying at Darren's lab until this all blows over. He can tell you where to go.
事情は落ち着いたら教える。
Once things calm down, I'll tell you what's going on.
わかりました。
Alright.
Yuki nodded. Now everything was ready. I looked around at everyone in the lab.
じゃあ、みんな、あとは手はず通りに。
Okay, guys. Now just follow the plan and... Let's say Snowbeaver, I'm not immediately choosing games at the moment because there's a few games that I want just to have around in my house. Like, for example, I want to get the Sonic Kart game because I enjoy playing that. I'll probably get I'll probably get my own copy of Smash because I did enjoy playing it on stream. Other than that, I'll probably look to some of the more RPG stuff that I want to play. Because there's a few RPGs, like I might try some of the Fire Emblem games out. I'm even tempted to, for the first time ever, to get into one of the Mario games. There's quite a few games on the system I'd certainly try, which are a bit unique. It'll just be somewhat different, really. And again, it's like gaming on the go, so I want games that I can enjoy in multiple scenarios.
Wait, Ocarine!
お別れ言わなくていいの？クリスさんに。
You don't want to say goodbye to Chrisu?
No. He's trying to deceive her that he's going to be calling her. Telling her goodbye is going to make her suspicious. Really? Are you serious? Breath of the Wild. I've actually heard good things about that, Snowbeaver. I've heard it's like kind of like a return to form after a few games that have been a bit wayward. I'm tempted, I'll have to see. Goodbye. Amadeus was an artificial intelligence. She was an artificial being, not Chris herself.
ちゃんとお別れして後悔しないように。
Say goodbye, okay? So you won't regret it.
Mayuri handed back the phone I'd just given her.
Oh.
そうだな。
You're right. Oh, I guess I was wrong.
悪いがここで少し待っていてくれるか。
Can you all give me just a minute?
Okay.
I left Miyuri and Lukaku behind and went to Akihabara Bridge. If I made contact with Amadeus, she'd know where I was. That's why I'd chosen this place. This is the first place I'd let Chris see how weak I was, back when everything seemed at its darkest. An advertising van passed by, blaring jaunty opera music at a loud volume that clashed horribly with its flashy paint job. I waited for it to get out of earshot before I tapped the Amadeus icon. Right, that's going to be really important. There's no reason to randomly drop that in there unless it's going to be important. She showed herself immediately.
ずいぶんと久しぶりね。
It's been a long time.
そうだな。
That's right.
私のことなんて忘れたんだと思ってたわ。
I thought you'd forgotten me.
I hadn't forgotten. I could never forget.
いろいろあってな。
I've been busy. How many goodbyes had I said now? I'd said goodbye to her again and again, but I'd never gotten used to it.
それで今日はどうしたの？
So, what is it today?
君に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
There was something I wanted to ask you.
何？またタイムマシンは作れるかって話？
What? You want to know if you can make a time machine again?
冗談。続けて。
That was a joke. Keep going.
もしもだ。もしも自分の命と引き換えに友達の命を救えるとしたら、君ならどうする？
Just hypothetically, if you could give up your life to save a friend's, would you do it?
質問の意図がよくわからないんだが。
I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
答えてほしい。
Answer me, please. She must have been able to tell from my words and expression that I was serious, because she took on a serious expression as well.
その友達は大切な人なのよね。
That friend's important to someone important to you, isn't it?
あ
Yeah.
私にはまだやりたいことがたくさんあるわ。やらなければならないこともある。でも
There are still many things I want to do. Many things I have to do. But
それでももしもその友人や周りの人が幸せになるというのなら甘んじて受け入れるかもしれない。
even so, if I could make that friend and the people around me happy, maybe I would. Kurisu.
ごめんなさい。実際にそんな目にあったことないし、想像でしかないから確実なことは言えないけど。
Sorry. I've never had that happen to me, so all I can do is imagine. Which means I can't give you a real answer.
それでも一人でも私のことを覚えていてくれる人がいるなら、忘れないでいてくれる人がいるなら。
If there was still one person who would remember me, if there was still one person who wouldn't forget.
とにかく私のことは忘れること。今日あったこともこれまであったことも。
Anyway, forget about me. Forget about what happened today and everything that came before.
それが私の望みだから。
That's what I want.
忘れるものか。
I can't forget!
Huh?
Never.
俺は決して忘れない。
I will never forget! This was a vow. A vow to get me through the time to come.
岡部さん。
Okay,
つまらないことを聞いて悪かった。
Sorry for asking something so silly.
それは構わないけど、何かあったの？
No, I don't mind. Did something happen?
Well, Queen jumping in saying here for about half an hour. Good evening to you. Well, I've decided on my next game. Yes. Despite me saying I consider it in the future is now. I now own a Switch OLED. And my next playthrough is going to be Shin Megami Tensei 5. I've had my own one for a while, and now I've had a reason to buy one. So, there we are. That's what you've missed. Along with the rest of the story, by the way.
いや、なんでもないんだ。なんでも。
No, it's nothing. Nothing.
それじゃあまたな。
Anyway. Bye.
待って。
wait.
Huh?
なんだか二度と会えなくなりそうなそんな気がして。
Oh, no. It just felt like I was never going to see you again.
Krisu.
そんなことはないさ。
That's not true.
そうよね。 私ったらなんで急にそんな風に思ったんだろう。
Of course not, right? I don't know where I got that idea.
会えるさ。必ず。
We'll see each other again. I promise. And ouch! Snowbaby, that's not cool that your stove has basically stopped working. But fortunately, it's at a time where it's nearly half price. If it's gonna break, timing is everything. Look on the bright side.
Yeah.
That's right. This wasn't goodbye forever. I'd see her again. So I won't say goodbye. Not until I see you again. See you again.
また
Yeah. See you again.
Kurisu. I've got no idea how long it will take, but I'm going to reach you. I promise. I went back to Miyuri and Lukako and gave them the phone.
お別れは済んだ？
Did you say goodbyes?
あ、
Yeah,
それじゃあ頼んだぞ。
I'm counting on you guys.
Yep.
I watched them disappear into the crowded station and went back to the lab. That van was still playing its loud music as it drove down the street. It's interesting when you say Nintendo sucks about copyright. Because you say otherwise you tell me to play Pokemon. As I say, I mean, the strange thing is, on that 4-part New Year's stream, the Nintendo games weren't copyright claimed. Neither SMT5, Animal Crossing, or Smash were claimed. Yeah, a WWE game from 2006 was. Huh? What? Five hours had passed since the operation had begun. The only sound in the room was of Daru's fingers on the keys.
どうだ、ダル。
How's it going, Daru?
今のところ気づかれてはないと思われ。
It doesn't look like they found us.
まだかかりそうか。
This is going to take a lot more time.
早くても3時間くらいは。
Yeah, at least 3 hours. And I agree, Queen. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was confused as all hell. Considering that we had, like I say, Pokemon characters, we had we had Metroid characters, we had the Splatoon girl, we had Persona 5, we had Sephiroth, we had Sora from Kingdom Hearts. None of it copyright claimed. I guess it wasn't going to be easy after all. Daru must have been exhausted, but he was still working. Miyuri and the others were sending me their regular messages. Miyuri had paired off with Lukaku and Faris with Suzuha. Since they knew each other so well, they were doing a great job working together and running around Tokyo. Suzuha had told me that she'd already seen shady-looking people several times, and Moeka had sent me a message saying that they'd taken the bait, courtesy of the opera van. For now, the operation was succeeding without anyone getting hurt. But I didn't expect it to last forever. I wanted to get Carice's memory data deleted as fast as possible. But in the end, my only choice was to rely on Daru.
すまないな、ダル。
Sorry about this, Daru.
それは言わない約束だろ。
You promised not to say that, buddy. I remembered how he looked 25 years in the future. Even in that far distant future, he was still my friend.
オカリンさん、ちょっといい？
Ocarine, can I have a second?
Until a little bit ago, Maho had been resting to recover from her exhaustion. But at some point, she must have gotten up.
どうした？
What is it?
これ、見て。
Look at this.
She handed me a stack of papers. It was a printout of Stratfor's report. She must have been looking at it after she'd woken up.
これは
What's this?
ストラト4によって被験者としてリストアップされた人たちの名前よ。
At least the Stratfor's experimental test subjects. There were rows of names, sexes, and ages and other information.
ここ
Look here. She pointed a small finger at one of the names. It said, Kagari Shina.
シーナ係
Kagari Shina!
彼女ストラト4のモルモットにされていたんだわ。
She was one of Stratfor's guinea pigs. Of course, I'd known it was a possibility. That's why they'd been looking for her. And she had Chris's memories too. But still, it was one thing to suspect it, and another to see proof. Well, Snowbeaver, you say you don't think copyright issues are a problem for smaller streamers. For me, I'm not monetized. I don't qualify for monetization. So even on Steins Gate 0, they always get copyright claim because of the music. But it doesn't do anything, it just lets the game carry on. It's strikes that's the problem. Strikes are a problem. I've never had one so far. Touching a lot of wood. But I know that they can really screw you over very easily. In like losing your entire channel and everything if you're not careful. So that's why I'm always wary of the rules. And trying to make sure that I don't do things too soon. It's why I waited so long to do Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I wanted to wait for it to bed down for a while before I jumped on board the stream for it, so there was no issues with Atlas. And to be fair to Atlas, they've not come after any of my streams so far. Not a single one.
だけど最終実験までには至らなかったみたい。その直前に脱走したと書かれてあるわ。
But it never made it to the last phase of the experiments, it looks like. It says she ran away just before they got the chance. Ah, Queen, you had a strike ages ago. Did you ever contest it, or did it just, like, disappear overnight? I know someone personally who had a copyright strike, and immediately they challenged it, and to be fair, it was instantly rescinded. The people who did the copyright strike were like, yeah, actually, no, this is not what it should have been used for, and they took it down straight away. That made me feel a whole lot better. If Kagari still had Chris's memories, I would have seen a repeat of what happened in the last world line. This must be another factor of the world line change. But there was still no doubt that she had been in Stratfor's hands for years. And she'd been the subject of many experiments during that time.
少し心配だわ。
I'm a little worried. And damn, that sounds annoying that your videos were capped at 15 minutes because your claim was denied. Well, how long were you stuck in that kind of limbo for? I mean, that's the thing for me. If they suddenly said copyright strike, you're not allowed to stream anymore. Well, I'd migrate to Twitch. I'm not a fan of Twitch's platform though, because the archives are only limited. And I know some people say, oh, well, you should only put highlights up anyway. But at the same time, there are people who want to watch the whole archive. And I want to give people the raw content. Maho must have been thinking the same thing I was. Kagari was alone with Yuki at Dara's hideout right now.
誰だよこの忙しい時に。
Huh? Who's calling me now? I'm busy. And wow, it was 6 months, Queen. That's a very long time. The ringer that suddenly interrupted our conversation was coming from Dara's phone.
天主だ。どうしたんだろう。
Huh? It's Amanishi. I wonder what's up. I had a bad feeling.
はい、もしもし。天主、どうしたん？何かあったん？
Yes, hello. Amanishi, what is it? Did something happen?
え？かがりたんが？
Huh? Kagami-chan was what?
係がどうした？
What happened to Kagari?
いなくなったって。
She says she's gone.
何？
What? I got the phone out of his hands and put it up to my ear.
俺だ。岡部だ。係がいなくなったって。本当か？
It's me, Okabe. Is Kagami really gone?
岡部さん、ごめんなさい。私がついていながら。
Okabe, I'm sorry. I was right next to
一
her.
体どうして？誰かにさらわれたのか？
What happened? Did she get kidnapped?
いえ、それが、かがりさんが自分で、私、必死で止めたんですけど、すごい力で。
No. Kagami left on her own. I tried my best to stop her, But she was so strong.
Yep, exactly what she did to Suzuha in the time machine.
自分で
On her own? What was going on? Was Yuki really... No, that was impossible. If Yuki was working for Stratfor, she wouldn't be calling me. But then why had Kagari run off on her own?
スピーカーモードにしてもらえる？私も話が聞きたいわ。
Can you put it on speaker? I want to hear this too.
I hit the button to switch the call to speakerphone.
ユキさん、かがりさんが飛び出していく前の状況を詳しく教えて。何か変わったことはなかった？
Yuki, tell me more about what happened before Kagari ran off. Was there anything strange?
特には、それまでいろいろとおしゃべりしていて。
No, we were just talking.
何か変な映像を見たりは？もしくは音とか。
The opera music. It's a hypnosis theme. The opera van. That's what it's going to be.
Did you hear or see anything strange?
あ、待ってください。そういえば、外から変な音楽が聞こえてました。何かの外旋車みたいでしたけど、やけに大きい音だなと思ったら。
Told you. Told you that was going to be really important because they wouldn't have included it otherwise.
No. Oh, wait. Come to think of it, I did hear some weird music from outside. It was like some kind of jingle from an advertising van. I remember it because it was really loud.
An advertising van? Was it the one I'd seen this afternoon?
それね。
That's it.
さっきのファイルに書いてあったわ。過去、ストラト4が行ってきた数々の実験。
I just read about it in that file. It was one of the experiments Stratfor did.
その実験の中に、ブレインウォッシングが含まれていた。
The experiment involved brainwashing.
Brainwashing?
洗脳か
Brainwashing?
特定の音楽を耳にすれば、自発的に行動するよう洗脳されていたんじゃないかしら。
I think she might have been brainwashed to behave in a certain manner if she heard a pre-programmed source of music.
I've no idea if that's actually possible. It's almost like a form of audible hypnosis. Obviously, the human voice can cause reactions in different ways due to its tones. I'm not sure if it'd be possible to make an actual body control a certain way, unless they kind of did the experiment like Pavlov did with the dogs, whereby wrapping the bars of dog kennels so they could sound like balls, they started salivating. It sounds a bit too much like Pavlov's dogs, but on a whole new level.
そうとでも考えなければ、この状況で自分から進んで飛び出すとは思えない。
That's the only way to explain why she'd run off on her own right now.
That song the van was playing. It was K6205. The magic flute sent to lead Kagari astray.
ファイルにも書かれているわ。椎名かがりは適合性に非常に優れているため、目下行方を捜索中って。
The file also said that she was an ideal candidate for the experiments, and that they were still looking for her.
Damn it! They probably had vans like that all over Japan, not just Akihabara. And she'd fallen right into their trap.
どうするオカリン
What do we do, Ocarine? It was obviously Stratfor again after Kagari, which meant that all we could do was... And then there was another call. This time it was to my phone. I had Faris prepare several cell phones for my use in this operation. One to use to call everyone, one to give Kagari, and... The call was coming from the phone I'd given to Kagari. It probably wasn't from her, though. Who could it be? Dr. Laskinen? Yeah, I know what you mean there, Quinn. You're saying it's strictly a mental response, but that's my point with Pavlov's dogs. Pavlov's dogs experiment, for all that you don't know, is that essentially the experiment was to see if you could associate behaviour with sound. And they initially dragged dog balls along the bars of kennels, and then put balls down, and the dogs learned that when they heard the bars rapping, they'd come for food.
So eventually they stopped doing it and they just started wrapping the bars but putting no bottles down, and the dog still came forwards to the front salivating. So supposedly they managed to do some kind of trick like that. It's like another level of that, being able to make the body react physiologically to a neurological stimuli. Theoretically it's possible, but I'm not sure how you'd actually implement it. Okabe Rintaro, correct. It sounded like a female voice that was robotized. Could be Kagari. By herself, maybe? The digitally altered voice made the caller seem even more eerie.
ああ、そうだ。お前は。
Yeah, that's right. Who are you?
椎名係は我々の手中にある。交換条件は言わなくてもわかるな。
Okay, curveball time here. There's a few people this could be. If it's anyone who we've already interacted with, I'd like to say that it's either Kaede or Fubuki. Fubuki was part of the experiment. Could she have been brainwashed? But I'd also like the idea of this being a callback to the earlier game when a secret side of Nae came to life. We have Shina Kagari. I don't need to tell you what we want, do I? Carissa's laptop and hard drive.
考える時間をくれ。
Give me time to think.
考える？何を考える必要がある？
Think? Think about what? A trip to the beach? How I'm going to record me smashing the hard drive to pieces just to annoy you?
交換は明日だ。場所と方法は追って連絡する。
The exchange will take place tomorrow. We'll tell you where and how later. They hung up.
クリスの PC とハードディスクと交換だそうだ。
They want to swap her for Chris's computer hard drive. Fair enough if you're aware of Pavlov. I thought I was sounding intelligent for a moment, but evidently I'm not. No change there then, you're all saying.
で、どうするん？
So what's the plan?
係が洗脳にあっていたなんて。
I can't believe Kagari was brainwashed. Suzuha was gritting her teeth in frustration as she listened to us. I had her come back immediately after the call. And I brought Kiryu Moeka to the lab as well.
率直に教えてもらいたい。仮に相手の要求に従ったとして、係を返してもらえると思うか？
I want your honest opinion. If we do what they want, will they give us back Kagari? No.
思わない。
No. That's the first time I've agreed with Moeka. Moeka gave her honest opinion.
私もそう思う。相手は洗脳なんて汚い手を使う人間だ。必要なくなれば容赦なく消すだろう。
I agree. They're willing to use dirty tactics like brainwashing. If they don't need her, they'll just kill her.
最悪、あなたもやられる。
They might kill you, too. The only reason they would have called me specifically is that they knew I had information they wanted to keep hidden. After what I'd gone through already, I could safely assume they'd show no mercy. And they were after what Carissa had left behind. Her memories and her belongings. I didn't want them causing any more wars. Why don't you just time leap and prevent her from leaving the lab? Or am I thinking too far ahead here? Which meant there was only one thing I could do.
力乗り込んで、係を取り戻すしかないな。
We'll have to bust in and take back Kagari. It was dangerous, but it was the only way. Miura and the others were still out there fighting, which meant they should still think I was running around the city.
乗り込むって、そんな相手がどこにいるのかもわからないのに。
Best in? You don't even know where they are!
どこにいるかなら知ってるさ。
I do.
本当か？おじさん、いつの間に？
Really? Uncle, when did you... I don't know, Queen. She did say that she made the machines and the algorithm at the same time. Unless I misread that part of the dialogue wrong. You can time leap. I'm sure it was all completed. The only thing they're hacking for now is to try and get access to the extra file, not get access to CERN for the lifter.
鈴葉手伝ってくれるか
Suzuha, will you help?
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. I turned toward Moeka, who shook her head.
そこまでは付き合えない。
I'm not willing to go that far. I bet.
ダメよ。二人でなんて危険すぎる。
You can't go alone. It's too dangerous.
いや大勢で動くよりも危険は少ないかもしれない
No, it might be safer than going with a big group. And I knew that fate wasn't going to let me die for a little while longer.
まゆりさんたちには言わないの？
You're not going to tell the other girls?
言えば心配かけるだろうからな
It would probably just worry them.
ダル引き続きロックの解除を頼むそれからスマホは通話状態にしておいてくれ
Daru, keep working on that file lock and leave your phone on a call with me.
オキドキ
Okie dokie.
おじさん、これを。
Uncle, here. Suzuha handed me a semi-automatic pistol. Giving Kiyoma a gun is a bad idea. A very bad idea, best girl. Don't do it. No. Well, now, Quasi, I'd have to watch the footage again, but earlier on there was a conversation where Maho came back from the back room saying she'd done both together, and he talked about the time. He even said, I can leap up to 48 hours from now. Meanwhile, Avian, good evening to you. How are you doing? A Glock 17. Glock 17, I believe it is literally made by Glock, 17-shot pistol, 9mm rounds, often used by security, private security for heads of state. They use it as a sidearm. So, developed by an Austrian arms manufacturer, civilian version of the official sidearm of the Austrian military, the PI-8, has a 9mm capacity, 17 plus 1 round capacity, yet 1 round in the chamber, 17 in the clip. Frame fully plastic, revolutionary design would have a huge effect on future firearm technology. And you're feeling good, are you, Avian? And that's fantastic. Oh, well, you've just deleted the message. I assume it wasn't a spoiler. Speaking of spoilers, though, a few people in the chat already know, but I've decided on what our next stream's going to be. It's Shin Megami Tensei 5. And this is a Nintendo Switch OLED. Yes, I've joined the other side. I've got an extra console. So I will be playing SMT5 as my next stream.
もしもの時は自分の身は自分で守るんだ。
Protect yourself if you have to. I hesitated, but decided to take it. It was the first time in my life I'd ever held a gun, and it was a lot heavier than I expected it to be. And yes, Avian, really, I do indeed have a Nintendo Switch OLED. We are going to carry on SMT5. The only issue is, I've got the Japanese voices downloaded, but when I played the test earlier, I found that this cutscenes, you couldn't stop them to do the voices in English. So I either leave it in the English dub, or I carry it on in Japanese and just have to let those scenes play out where you have to read them. But that's for the future. This is now. Oh, okay. The lights were still on at the building in Kanda. Even at this hour, the gate was open. That's how colleges were. As expected, we made it inside with no trouble. Yeah, because it was in the basement, wasn't it?
係が。
Kagami's in here.
ああそのはずだ
Yeah, she should be. If Dara's information from 2036 was right, Stratfor's base was here at my university, Tokyo Denki. Several buildings occupied the school's Kanda campus. Building 1, Buildings 5 through 7, and Buildings 11 through 15. Buildings 5, 6, 10 and 15 were scattered throughout the surrounding neighbourhood, but the remainder were in their own little isolated area. Now you say I'll never be allowed to leave, Avian? I go where I please and I do what I like. But to be fair, it's the ultimate travel companion, so that's what I'll use it for mostly. Gaming on the go, and streaming from my house. The only two of those with basements were 11 and 15. And my guess was that Stratfor's base was here, in Building 11. It was not only the building with the newest equipment, but it was a big building with 17 floors and a lot of foot traffic going in and out. I didn't know how many people Stratfor had working for them, but at least some of them had to have been out looking for me. Which meant this place would be less well guarded than usual. And I had Suzuha with me too. This was doable.
こっちだ
This way. I led Suzuha straight down the stairs. There were 3 elevators in the building, but Suzuha had decided that taking them would be dangerous. They could potentially be trapped. Yeah, say gaming on the go is good, especially when you're doing commutes or flying on planes to foreign countries. I'm trying to think why I might be doing that anytime. Why would I want to do that? Is there anywhere I wanted to go? I'll have to get back to you all, I can't remember. So how did they get down if they weren't using the stairs? The problem was what lay down below. There were over 20 rooms of varying sizes in the 2-story basement. Which one of them was their base?
おじさん、こっち。
Uncle, this way!
わかるのか
You know where to go?
思い出した。ここなら昔潜入したことがある。
I remembered. I've infiltrated this place once before.
私が知ってる建物はもう崩れかけで、外観も全然変わってたからわからなかったけど、間違いない。
When I was here, the place was falling apart, and the outside looked totally different, but I'm sure of it. Suzuha led me down the corridors without hesitation. With her gun in hand and her hips drawn low to the ground to avoid making noise as she ran. She looked just like a cat. Giddy! So yes, maybe if I get fur babies, I'll have to call one of them Suzuha now. Probably, well, the kitties in the what a name more. I want like 12 kitties eventually. No, that's not happening. As awesome as it would also be the most annoying fucking thing in the world. She stopped in front of one of the rooms and nodded to me. It seemed no different than any of the others. But there was no nameplate on it. This was supposed to be a large generator room, as I recalled.
私はかがりを救出する。おじさん、自分の身は自分で守ること。
I'll save Kagari. You just protect yourself, Uncle. Right. I took the Glock out from my belt. It was heavy in my hands. Suzuha had taught me how to use it, but I'd never fired it before. I wasn't sure I'd be able to. Right. The problem there, Akabe, the big problem, is she hasn't trained you how to handle kickback. Anyone who's ever fired a pistol will tell you they pack a lot more punch in reverse than you realise. And unless you know the exact way to hold it and how to make your muscles tense up to counteract the strain, you'll end up possibly even hitting yourself in the face. And as you say, Avian, yes, it would be awesome, but I'm not counting my chickens. With the rates of infection as they are at the moment, I won't be surprised if things get halted. So I'm not ordering anything. As annoying as that is, I've got to be pragmatic here. But it would still serve as a bluff.
行くよ。3、2、1。
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. After she finished her countdown, Suzuha shut off the doorknob and kicked open the door and ran into the room. She did it all in one swift movement. I ran in after her and realised immediately that something was wrong. The first thing I noticed was the stench. It was an iron smell, strong enough to make you puke. Blood. The floor of the room was covered with blood. There were bodies, too. 4 or 5 of them. Of course, Suzuha hadn't done it. It was already like this when we got here.
どういうことだ
What's going on? Suzuha was slowly working her way forward. I followed her. And yeah, Queen Avian, you're right. Yeah, you say from that you can lose skin on the side. It's possible, yes. If you get it in the wrong place, the chamber reloading, if you hold it wrong, absolutely. You can also get surprising amount of powder burn because it's obviously got, like, you know, the brightness of the powder coming out too. And as you say, have hope, but be realistic. That's what I'm doing. I'm literally not committing to anything until I know. It's the wisest way to go. Some of the bodies were Japanese and some were American. The room continued on. A large man was lying face down next to a half-open door. And next to him was...
思ったよりも早かったわね、リンタロウ。
You're here sooner than I expected, Rintaro. Yep.
バカな
No way! The voice saying my name was voluptuous and feminine, and its accent was foreign. Yep.
イエス教授
Dr. Reyes.
元気そうで何よりだわ。
I'm glad you're doing well.
どうして
Why?
ちょっと探し物を返してもらおうかと思って。
I came to get something I was looking for. Dr. Reyes spun around quickly and smoothly, like a dancer. Kagari was seated behind her.
かがり
Kagari!
どうしたかがり聞こえないのか
What's wrong, Kagari? Can't you hear us? There was some kind of strange mechanical device over her head. No matter how much I called out her name, she didn't move an inch. I'm actually kind of disappointed that it's Dr. Reyes. I was hoping it'd be a better reveal than that. I was hoping it wouldn't be her. It's too bleh.
あら、せっかく気持ちよく眠ってるんだから、起こしてあげたらかわいそうよ。
Oh dear. She's sleeping so peacefully. It would be rude to wake her up. Is there any need for that posture? I get that they're trying to make her look evil, but it just seems to attract the eye in the wrong way, if you know what I mean. They could have made her look more dominant than that. That's just not a good look. Her smile was sharp and cold. It completely lacked the warmth I'd seen when we first met. Yeah,
そいつ軍人だ。
yeah, Avian, I agree with you. Better than Moeka. Watch out! She's military! Suzuha already had her gun drawn at Reyes. But Reyes didn't seem concerned in the slightest.
軍人
Military? Tsunoji had said that, come to think of it. That the group looking for Kagari was with the Western military. And he'd wondered if a normal spy would have taken their own life.
そっちのあなた、何者？
And who might you be?
かがりを返せ。
Get back, Kagari! Ah, yeah, Avian. With a new doggo around, you want to stay close. I can completely understand that. Absolutely.
いい顔ね。日本にもそういう顔をできる人間がいるなんて知らなかった。
I loved that face. I didn't know there was anyone in Japan with a face like that.
とりあえず銃をこちらに。でないと椎名かがりは死ぬわよ。
Why don't you start by giving me your gun? If you don't, Shina Kagari will die, you know.
かがりを殺した瞬間に、私がお前を殺す。
The second she dies, you're dead too.
あらそう。私は組織で動いている。私一人を殺したところで状況は変わらないわよ。
I see. But I'm just one part of a larger organization. Killing me won't change a thing.
鈴葉
Suzuha. No. Best girl. Don't be put off. Shoot her center mast, right between the eyes. Put her out of her fucking misery. Suzuha laid the gun at her feet, frustrated. Oh, come on. Seriously, just kill them! When you got to shoot, shoot, don't talk!
いい子ね。ついでにそこで両手を頭の後ろに置いて立ってなさい。
Unless, of course, she's banking on Akabe using his Glock 17 because Reyes wouldn't believe he's armed. Except there's one problem. He pulled his gun out of his belt, didn't he? So that's not going to work. Ah, so you're still outside just to like living with two dogs and walking them together. Yeah, if you got they're behaving in totally different ways, that must be very, very irritating.
それでリンタロウ、交換条件は提示したはずだけど、ちゃんと持ってきてくれたの？
So, Rintaro, I believe I told you what the deal was. Did you bring them? Absolutely not. 1. The exchange is not until tomorrow. And 2. Fuck you!
あらあら、いけない子ね。持ってきていないなら、こちらとしては椎名かがりは渡せないわ。
Oh my. You're such a naughty boy. If you didn't bring them, then I can't let you have Sheena Kagari. She'd said Kagari was asleep, but when I looked closer I saw that her eyelids weren't fully closed. From what little I could see of her eyes, they were empty and devoid of light.
かがりに何をした？
What did you do to Kagari?
残念だけど、まだ何もしていないわ。彼らが使っていた子守歌をちょっと聞かせてあげただけ。
Unfortunately, nothing yet. I just played the lullaby they used with her.
でも、あなたが交換条件に応じる気がないみたいだから、これから始めてしまおうかしら。
But if you're not going to accept my trade, then maybe I'll just get started. She rubbed Kagari's cheeks with the barrel of a gun, a look of ecstasy on her face.
クリスの PC とハードディスクは特別な場所に隠してある。
I've hidden Crease's laptop and hard drive somewhere special.
かがりを渡さないなら、こっちも教えるつもりはない。
If you're not going to give me Kagari, then I won't tell you where.
先にかがりを解放しろ。
Let Kagari go first.
交渉は無駄よ、リンタロウ。
Negotiations are pointless, Rintaro.
そっちが渡す気がないなら、こっちはこっちのやり方をさせてもらうわ。
If you're not going to give me what I want, then I'll just do things my way. Except she's already revealed that she wants to experiment with her, so she's not going to kill Kagari. She's not got any leverage to use against you. Just fucking walk out. Walk out of the room. Play the last move you'd ever expect. It wasn't a threat or a bluff. Reyes was acting like this as an everyday conversation. With all the blood and stench around us, that somehow made it even creepier. I mean, to be fair, the blood and stench would make it creepy. I can understand that getting to him. Quite a lot.
これはあなたがやったのか？
Did you do this?
ええ。彼らも余計な真似をしなければ、もう少し長生きできたのに。残念ね。
Yes. If they hadn't been so stupid, they might have managed to live a little longer. It's a shame.
どうしてこんな真似を？
Why would you do something like this?
簡単なことよ。私の正体に気づいたから。
It's simple. They figured out who I really am.
正体？
Who you really are.
そこの彼女が言ってたでしょ。
Remember what she just said?
軍か。
You're with the military.
同時に研究者でもある。ダーパって言ってもどうせわからないでしょうけど。
And a scientist as well. DERPA. Not that that means anything to you, I'm sure. Department of Research, something, I'm guessing. But I'm going to let the dialogue play out first before accessing the hint, in case it pretty much tells us.
アメリカ国防高度研究計画局。そんなレイエス教授が。
DERPA! The Defense Ultimate Research Projects Agency! No way! Dr. Reyes is with them! Defense Ultimate Research Projects Agency. Really? Really, game? Are you fucking serious? Defense Ultimate Research Projects Agency. I've read fanfiction with better names than that. Not fanfiction I've wrote. My fanfiction was worse. I'll put that caveat out there right now. I can hear Maho's voice through my Bluetooth microphone. I left my phone connected to Dara so that we could stay in touch if we needed to. Oh, Kareen, just give me a little more time. By time? Now? It would be impossible. But I asked Dara for the impossible many times before. Now it was my turn. I couldn't let her hurt Kagari. Suzuha had lost her weapon. It would be hard to do this by force. I just needed to keep her occupied.
その軍の人間がどうして
Why would someone from the military?
もともと私の所属するチームはブレインウォッシングの研究をしていたのよ。
My team originally worked on brainwashing.
洗脳それじゃあかがりは
Brainwashing? Then Kagari!
言っておくけど、彼女をこうしたのは私じゃない。彼らよ。
Just so we're clear, it wasn't me who did this to her. It was them. Them? She must have meant the people lying on the floor.
どうだかそもそもなぜ軍の人間が洗脳の研究なんてする必要がある
I don't know if I believe that. Why would the military want to brainwash people anyway? To create soldiers who feel no pain or remorse and send them on missions which are really nasty and heinous, involving overthrowing crime lords and burning villages to the ground? Brainwash someone to act like that, maybe? Meanwhile, Queen, welcome back. How are you? There was no need to even ask. But I needed to buy time for Dara to finish his hacking.
決まってるでしょ。思い通りに動く戦士を作るためよ。
Boom, I got it right. Ding ding ding. Point for me. You know why. We want soldiers who'll do exactly as they're told.
文句を言うこともなく、死を恐れることもない。国のために身を捧げる最強の戦士を作るため。
Our goal was to make the ultimate soldier. Wrong game, love. The ultimate soldier's in a completely different game. Who never complains, who never fears death, and who willingly sacrifices himself for his country. Themself for their country. Why does everyone believe the ultimate soldier has to be a guy? Best Girl, Kibiya Moeka, you, Creepy Nye. That's 4 of you right there. I'm just saying. And you're great now that you're at home, Queen. I can totally understand that one.
別に珍しいことじゃないわ。そんなの100年以上も前から世界中で行われているもの。
There's nothing unusual about it. It's been done all over the world for over a century.
でもね、洗脳なんて面倒なことをしなくても最強の戦士を作り上げられると私たちは気づいたの。
But then we realized that we could make the ultimate soldier without going through the hassle of brainwashing.
それが AI 戦士よ。
An AI soldier.
AI 戦士
An AI soldier? Yeah. The Skynet called. It didn't work out very well. The name alone made it sound like the title of a cheap sci-fi movie. But it also just made it creepier. No, it didn't. It makes it stupid. And it's interesting that you should mention that, Queen, about when you generalise gender, most times it's referred to as the masculine one. There's a movement at the moment in the world of cricket Now, for those of you who don't know cricket, it's a very British sport that makes a game last for 5 days instead of 1. Don't ask me why. But one of the terms that they used to use for people when they were at the crease and trying to score runs, it used to be known as batsman. But in the last year, it's been changed to batter. Because essentially, like, the profile of the women's game has been raised quite a lot. And it's really interesting to see how things like that have started to try and move away from the masculine gender representation and actually just going for a more neutralised one. And then you get the Luddites who call it stupid and woke. And those Luddites, well, they're just stupid.
なるほどな。人工知能を兵士の頭の中に植え付けるというわけか。
I see. So you implant an artificial intelligence into the soldier's brain.
そうすれば一様に高度な頭脳と思考を持つ戦士を大量に生み出すことができる。
That would let you mass produce highly intelligent and highly capable soldiers.
へえ。
Huh?
それに特殊技能についての記憶を兵士全員にインストールすれば全員がどんなミッションもこなせる兵士にだってなれる。
And if you can install the memories needed for special skills too, you'll have a whole army of specialists ready for any mission imaginable.
その通り。リンタロ、理解が早いわね。
That's right. Rintaro, you're quick on the uptake.
しかもゆくゆくは教識化することでより綿密で高度な連携を図れるようにもなる。
And in the future, we'll be able to make soldiers capable of enhanced teamwork via group consciousness too. Yeah, I'd say that all very fair examples that you pointed to there, Avian. But my point is, it's like, you know, I don't understand why, when they've got such knowledge of women who kick more ass than guys in this game, she still generalises towards the masculine gender. That's the thing I don't get. I don't understand that. But again, I wasn't on the writing team, so I can't comment.
どう？すごいでしょ？
What do you think? Amazing, isn't it?
そんなの許されるわけがない。
You can't do that. It's wrong.
陳腐なセリフね。
That's what they all say. I was worried that Suzuha might jump at her in fury, but she stayed completely calm. Reyes was right next to Kagari. No matter how fast Suzuha was, without a gun, Kagari was still in danger. If I knew Suzuha, she was watching the situation carefully and waiting for an opening.
いい？私たちは世界の治安を守っているの。我が軍があるからこそ世界の平和は保たれているのよ。
Listen to me. We want stability. Our military is the only thing keeping the world peaceful.
そのための戦士になれるのなら彼らだって本望のはず。
And if they have to sacrifice themselves to become the soldiers who can make that possible, I'm sure they won't mind too much. It was selfish reasoning. There was no way I or anyone else could accept it. But...
面白い。
Interesting!
レイエス教授、いや、レイエス。貴様、なかなか面白いじゃないか。
Dr. Reyes! No, Reyes! You interest me greatly indeed! I saw Suzuha's gaze dart over to me for just a moment. Her eyes seemed to criticize me, but she didn't say anything.
リンタロ？
Rintaro?
リンタロウではない。
My name is not Rintaro! My job right now is to keep her busy until Daru broke the lock on the files. Which meant that now was the time to act. To act the part of the biggest fool I could. That was my job.
我が名は法院京馬。世界の支配構造を覆し混沌に陥れる男。
My name is Herin Kiyama. I am the man who shall destroy the ruling structure of the world and plunge it into chaos.
一体何の冗談？
What kind of joke is this?
この狂気のマッドサイエンティスト王院京馬が認めてやろう。貴様なかなかにマッドだ。
I, the mad scientist of madness, Herin Kiyama, admit it. You, Reyes, are moderately mad.
ほう。何？
Oh... What?
王院京馬だ。岡部倫太郎と世を欺くための仮の姿、その正体こそこの俺。
Herin Kiyama! Okabe Rinzaro is the disguise I used to deceive the eyes of the world. This is my true identity.
不死鳥のごとく蘇るマッドサイエンティストだ。
I am the mad scientist reviving like the phoenix.
何それ？あなたユニークね。
What am I hearing? You screwed up, kid. For a moment, her mouth had hung up open in shock, but she quickly regained her cocky smile. But I couldn't back down now.
レイエス、これまで貴様がやってきたことはすでに把握した。
Reyes, I already know what you've done thus far.
貴様は AI 戦士の研究のためにビクトル・コンドリア大学に教授として潜り込んだ。
You infiltrated Victor Condria University as a professor to work on your AI soldier project.
そしてその過程でアマデウスプロジェクトにたどり着いた。
And while you were there, you found out about Amadeus.
そうだな。
Correct?
ええ、その通りよ。アマデウスはなかなかに面白いプロジェクトだったわ。でもそれよりも面白かったのは
Yes, that's right. Amadeus was quite the interesting project. But what interested me more... She stepped on the body next to her as if it were an object, and not a human being.
アマデウスプロジェクトの陰に見え隠れする彼らの存在よ。
With the traces of I saw of their
案の
involvement.
定探りを入れてみたらとんでもないものが見えてきた。
And just as I expected, I looked into it and found something incredible.
何が出てきたかはあなたも知ってるでしょ。
You know what I found, right?
タイムマシンだな。
The time machine, yes? Reyes' eyes flashed me a dazzling smile and nodded.
なるほどな。
I see!
人類の夢であり決して作り出すことのできないと言われたタイムマシン。
The time machine, the impossible dream of all mankind!
その理論が記された論文の存在に気づいたか。
You learned that the paper that described how it would work!
それを手に入れれば世界の覇権をも手に入れることができると。
And you learned that if you could get it, the world would be yours to command!
だがくだらん。貴様らの考えることは皆同じだ。
But you were a fool! Everyone like you thinks the same thing!
くだらないですって。
Fool?
ああ、実にくだらん。
Yes, a fool!
世界の覇権、国家のため、組織のため、機関のため。
Ruling the world? Working for the nation? Working for the organization?
どれも歪小な目的だ。
These are all the goals of petty men.
そんなもののために世紀の大発明を利用するなど科学者として下の下。
If you had used the greatest invention of human history for those things, then you're a failure as a scientist.
私は科学者である前に軍人よ。
I'm a soldier before I'm a scientist.
国に命を捧げたものなの。
I've offered my life to my country.
我が国が世界の覇権を手に入れればそれだけで抑止力になる。
If my country can command the world, that lets us keep every other potential threat in check.
それは世界のためでもあり人類のためでもあるのよ。
And that's what's best for the world and mankind. Her voice was rising in
だ
excitement.
から決して他の国に先を越されるわけにはいかない。
That's why we can't let any other country get it ahead of us.
革命的な理論を私たちが手に入れることで世界の均衡は守られる、世界の平和は保たれるのよ。
By obtaining this revolutionary theory before anyone else, we can keep the world's power balance the way it is. We can keep the world peaceful.
それを他の国に、ましてや一民間企業に手に入れられるなど許すものですか。
We can't let another country, let alone a civilian corporation, get their hands on it first.
それがこれだけの人間を手にかけた理由か。
And that's why you killed all these people.
あえてもう一度言おう。
I'll say it again.
くだらないな。
You are a fool.
あらそう。
I see.
彼らには悪いことをしたと思ってるわ。
I do feel bad about what I did to them. Just a little. Just a little bit bad. I didn't mean to paint the walls with their blood and their innards. I'm sorry. She didn't really sound like she meant it.
本当なら彼らを泳がせるだけ泳がせておいて、全てを手に入れてからデータを頂戴するつもりだったの。
The plan was to let them go a while longer, and then take the data once they had it all.
ならなぜ殺した？
Then why kill them?
スパイとして潜り込ませていた部下の一人がヘマをしでかしちゃったのよ。
One of the people I sent in to spy on them screwed up.
だからそれについてはこちらの落ち度だと思ってるわ。
So I do blame myself for that.
でもね、彼らだって悪いのよ。
But they're at fault too.
うちには民間の研究者も在籍しているの。
DERPA hires civilian
そ
scientists.
ちらに席を用意するって提案したのに、欲を出して要求を突きつけてきたりなんかするから。
I offered them jobs, but they got greedy and started making demands.
才能のある人間を失うのは不本意だわ。
Losing talent like that is such a shame. The corners of her mouth rose a little as she spoke. It didn't seem like she really felt that way at all.
さて、ここで一つ提案。岡部倫太郎、あなた、うちに来ない？
So, Okabe Rinsaro, I've got an offer for you. Why not work for DERPA?
何？
What?
あら、意外って顔ね。一体何のためにわざわざこんな話をしたと思うの？
You look surprised. Why did you think I was telling you all this?
メイドの土産になんて日本のサムライシネマの中だけの話でしょ。
Long villain monologues only exist in your Japanese samurai movies.
The game came that close to breaking the fourth wall then, but it decided to pull out at the last second. Good. Know your place. Leave the fourth wall alone.
Besides, Japanese samurai movies, they've contained them, but they're not as bad as superhero movies. It's why I liked, what was it called? The Incredibles. I like the way they took the piss out of that. Oh, you got me monologuing!
心配しなくていいわ。私たちは国籍なんて問わないし、お望みならばグリーンカードだって用意してあげられる。
Don't worry, we don't care about what country you're from. If you want, we can get you a green card.
Is that a not so subtle nod to Operation Paperclip, I wonder? I wonder if that's where they got their inspiration for that line from.
つまり俺のこの法院清間の才能を認めたというわけか。
In other words, you recognize my talent. You recognize the mind of her in Kiyoma.
もちろん、才能のない人間には声をかけたりなんてしないわ。
Of course. I wouldn't make this offer to someone without talent.
あなたには才能がある。
You've certainly got it.
それに、マキセ・クリスの友人でもある。
And you're Makise Karisa's friend, too. The real reason she was interested in me was probably the latter. It was far too obvious.
マキセ・クリスのタイムマシン理論について俺が彼女から何か聞いているかもしれない。
I might have heard something from Makise Karisa about her time machine theories.
そう期待しているわけだ。
That's what you're hoping.
だからこの俺が欲しいと。
And that's why you want me.
役に立つ人間は引き抜く。正当な対価も払う。それが私たちの生きる世界のルールだもの。
We take those that can be useful, and we pay. That's how things work in our world.
ということは役に立たなくなったら俺もそこに転がっている彼らのようになるわけだな。
Which means that once I'm not useful, I end up like the people on the ground over there.
それはあなたの働きと心がけ次第じゃないかしら。
That depends on how hard you work and what you decide to do. Oh, that pose again. Reyes laughed and went around behind Kagari. She seemed to be moving casually, but since Suzaha didn't pounce, she probably hadn't left any openings.
まだなのか。
Are you done yet? I was hitting my limit for buying time.
ゆっくり考えて。
Well, take your time and think about it. Yeah?
この俺の才能に目をつけるとはなかなかハイエスト愛の持ち主だ。
You have quite the high taste eye if you've noticed my talent.
Highest eye?
High taste eye. He's trying to say you've got an eye for taste, but he's said it in a really bad way. Don't give him that look, he's new.
目が高いという意味だ。メリケン人そんなこともわからないとはな。
Yep, see, I was right. High quality taste with a discerning eye. You're American, and you don't even know that. Ooh. Does really need to bring the American bit into it? Was that needed?
だがまあいい。科学者としてゲのゲだと言ったさっきの言葉を取り消してやろう。
But that's fine. I take back what I said about your failures as a scientist.
何せこの俺の才能を見抜いたのだからな。
Since, after all, you recognize my talent.
あら、それならこちらの提案に乗ってくれるのね。
I see. Then you accept my offer. I refuse! What?
なぜならこの俺は封印京馬だからだ。
Because I am her in Kyoma!
狂気のマッドサイエンティスト孤高の存在でなければならない。
A mad scientist must always be a solitary creature!
いついかなる時も何者にも属してはならない。それが宿命。
He must never belong to anyone or anything at any time. That is his destiny. At first, Reyes seemed surprised, but then she exhaled a long sigh.
まあ、それについては結論を急ぐ必要はないわ。
Well, feel free to take your time. He should realize by now. That's the second time she's mentioned take your time. Isn't that a massive flag for I'm also stalling, you fucking moron? Or am I reading too much into this?
彼女の処置が終わるまでゆっくり考えてもらって構わない。
Think it over until I'm done with her.
かがりをどうするつもりだ。
What are you gonna do to Kagari? Suza still had her hands behind her head. But if looks could kill. Yes, let's start fishing, start breathing through gills in your neck, people. If looks could do that. That's a fluff and a half. Reyes would be dead already.
分かりきったことでしょ。彼女の頭の中にマキセ・クリスの記憶を上書きするの。
You know what I'm doing. I'm overriding her memories with Makise Kurisu's.
それは
That's... Then in the other world line, maybe Derpa did that, and not Stratfor. And that wasn't all. Was the woman in the motorcycle suit who attacked the lab? Yeah, it would make sense with the cold arm, wouldn't it?
大丈夫よ。このために今日まで動物や何人もの人間を使って実験を繰り返してきたんだから。
Don't make that face. I've used this technique on animals and a number of humans.
Well, you haven't been very successful with it then, because you keep having to do it. So maybe the failures as a scientist thing is very true here. Now that line's actually quite creepy. I like that line. Reyes rubbed Kakari's cheeks lovingly.
そもそもこれまでのシステムには致命的な不具合があったの。
The system had a critical flaw until now, anyway.
でも今回はそれも解消した。その上彼女の高い適応力もある。きっと成功する。
But this time it's fixed. And she's highly compatible. I'm sure it will work fine.
Every single word she spoke. And she spoke so slowly. It felt like it was drawing me in.
クリスの記憶が、頭脳が、この子の中で再現されるのよ。
Kirisu's memories, her mind, will be recreated inside this girl.
そうなれば、記憶のブラックボックスなんて存在しなくなる。
And then we won't have to worry about any black boxes locking away parts of her memories.
私たちの言うがまま。彼女はきっとタイムマシンについても全部教えてくれる。
She'll do whatever we tell her. And I'm sure she'll tell us all about the time machine. Otherwise, I'll play to her weaknesses and make her want to take one of her knives.
Oh wait, I'm playing the wrong game. That's another game.
もうクリスの PC もハードディスクもいらない。彼女さえいてくれればそれでいいの。
We won't need Kurisu's laptop or her hard drive. As long as we have her, we'll be fine.
Reyes brought her crimson lips next to Kagari.
ねえ、カガリ。あなただってクリスになりたいでしょ？
Tell me, Kagari. You want to be Kurisu, right?
ダメだカガリ、そいつの言葉を聞くな。
No, Kagari, don't listen to her! But Kagari didn't move at all.
天才と呼ばれたあの頭脳があなたのものになるのよ。
Her genius mind will be yours.
世界に革新を起こす存在になれるの。素敵だと思わない？
You can revolutionize the world. Won't that be wonderful?
お返事は？
Well...
Kagari's lips moved a little.
Yes.
いい子ね。
Good girl.
カガリ、
Kagari!
リンタロウ、これはあなたの選択でもあるのよ。
Rintaro, this was your choice too, you know.
素直にこちらの交換条件に応じていれば結果は変わったかもしれないのに。
If you'd simply done as I'd asked, things might have turned out differently.
それにあなただって本当はクリスに会いたいんじゃないかしら。
And besides, you want to see Kurisu, don't you?
人間を構成するのは記憶よ。記憶がその人間を作り出しているの。
A person is nothing but their memories. It's their memories who make them who they are.
クリスの記憶を持ったかがりはクリスそのものになるわ。そうなればあなただって嬉しいでしょ。
When Kagari has Karisu's memories, she'll become Karisu. And you'll like that, won't you?
Yes, if the game is going to the ending I called a while ago, I will be very disappointed. Very, very, very disappointed. I...
それにクリスだって。
And I'm sure Karisu will too.
ふざけるな
Shut up! I was surprised at how loud my voice was.
クリスが喜ぶだとそんなわけがあるか
Chris would be happy? Hell no!
仮にかがりの記憶がクリスのものにとって変わったとしてもそれはクリスじゃない
Even if you do replace Kagari's memories with Karisu's, she won't be Karisu!
自分の記憶がそんな目的のために使われたってあいつは絶対に喜んだりしない
And she will be never happy to see her memories used like that!
あいつをマキセクリスをバカにするな
Don't you dare insult her! Don't you dare insult Makise Karisu!
そう残念だわ。
I see. That's a shame.
いずれにせよ結果は同じ。
But either way, the result doesn't change.
そこで大切な人の記憶がこの子の中に受け継がれるのをおとなしく見守っていなさい。
You can just stand there and watch her mind be filled with the memories of the one you love.
Rhea started to type commands into the computer next to her. Suzuha was still calm. She wasn't attacking Reyes because she was waiting for Dara's word.
まだなのか
Daru, have you done yet? Sorry, Ocarine. I'm so close. Damn it.
おじさん
Anko,
Suzuha whispered to me.
場合によってはかがりを見捨てる
we may have to give up on Kagari.
私が動いたら伏せて
Let's say move, get down. Knowing Suzuha, she wouldn't hesitate.
はーい準備 OK。
Okay, all ready to go.
And Avium, shoot the computer would be fine if Best Girl had the gun. Rintaro would more likely shoot Kagari than the computer or Reyes. What do I do? Should I give up on her? I couldn't do that, could I? But either way, Kagari was doomed.
それじゃあさよならかがり。
All right then. Sayonara, Kagari.
Rhea's fingers stretched out. And Suzuha moved. She closed the gap between her and Reyes in an instant. A gunshot rang out. Suzuha's body shot back and fell to the floor. Suzuha!
そう来ると思ったわ。残念だったわね。
I thought you'd do that. Too bad, huh?
Reyes had expected that. Then there was nothing I could do. Don't! Before I could stop her, Reyes hit the keyboard. What?
Huh?
どういうこと？どうして反応しないの？
What's going on? Why isn't it working?
まさかこ いつ
It can't be. The stupid thing!
Damn it!
I don't need to translate that. I can take a line off. Reyes pounded the keyboard again and again, swearing. That was me, by the way, trying to get my work laptop connected today to the network. It was a pain in the shitter. I was screaming at my TV. Why won't you work? Yeah, that was me. Was there a problem with the system? Kagari! Kagari! There was a small light in Kagari's empty eyes.
Shit!
That's fine, keep on saying it in English, I'm happy with that. With Reyes distracted, this was my chance. Kagari, come with me! Kagari! Kagari ripped the device off her head. Sonoba managed to run a few steps before she fell over. Kagari! I ran over and grabbed her. Reyes quickly brought her gun to bear. Another gunshot. I thought I'd been shot, but I hadn't. The gun, knocked out of Reyes' hand, was spinning on the floor. Don't take another step. Suzuha slowly stood up. She was holding the gun that she'd just placed on the ground. Suzuha, you're okay! Because she's got Kevlar under her jacket. I guess so. Her shoulders were bloody, but it wasn't a fatal wound. Ah, Queen, I've only just seen your question. Good that you've repeated it. Who's worse, Leskinon or Reyes? I think they're both crap, to be honest. I'll be brutally honest here. I'm not impressed with either of them. I'd probably say Leskinon's probably more, because he seems to gloat more in actually taking complete control of the subjects. Reyes just seems a little more cliched. She was lucky to survive a gunshot at that range. The tables have turned. You got me. I didn't expect to lose to a kid like you. Reyes shrugged her shoulders in surrender. But this isn't over yet, you know. I said don't move! Reyes ignored her and picked up the strange headset that Kagari had been wearing. Suzuha gripped her gun more tightly. Really, game? We're going back to that trope, the dead man switch bomb bollocks? The Deus Ex Machina of every villain? I absolutely hate that. It's such a cliche. Just so we're all on the same page, I'm carrying a small bomb with me. I just bite down a little on my back teeth and it explodes. No. No. At this rate, I'm sure you three will be caught up in it. So you're gonna kill yourself! I've been trained to choose death rather than hand information over to the enemy, sadly. You're bluffing! If you think so, then shoot. Well, shoot at them. Suzuha moved to pull the trigger. Wait, Suzuha! Just believe in Daru for now. Reyes glanced at Suzuha, then slowly put the headset down over her own head. What are you trying to do?
女じゃなければいいんでしょ。
You didn't want to use her either, did you, Amadeus? But you don't mind if I use someone else.
まさか
No way!
言ったでしょ。ここで終われない。
I told you, it won't end here. There was madness in her eyes.
そうよ。簡単な話だったんだわ。わざわざ他人を使わなくても。最初からこうすればよかったのよ。
That's right. It was always so easy. There was never any need to use anyone else. I could have just done this myself.
これで私はマキセ・クリスの記憶を手に入れられるの。
Now I will have Makise Kurisu's memories.
Sorry, game, you've ruined this. You've completely ruined this chapter. I can't take you seriously anymore.
タイム麻酔の理論を得ることもできるの。
I will have the time machine theory.
世界に確信をもたらす存在になれるのよ。
And I will be the one to revolutionize the world.
Until you realise that your memories mean that you won't remember the bomb in your back teeth and you blow yourself up. You didn't think of that one. And that's of course assuming she's compatible like you say, Avian, which she won't be.
そんなこと
No, don't! Don't use Chris's memories for that!
Yes, got it, got it, got it.
誰
Daru.
今から私は時間をも支配できる存在になる。
Oh, God. Okay, I'm gonna read it out.
Now I will rule time itself.
誰早くファイルを
Daru, get rid of that file, now! Hold on, I'm looking for it now! Where's this thing has went for the keyboard? Don't!
大丈夫。心配しなくても、あなたの大切な女の記憶は私がちゃんと役立ててあげる。
It's okay. I'll make good use of the memories of the girl you love.
I found it! I've got it, Ocarine!
消せ誰頼むクリスを
Delete it! Now, Daru! Set her!
あいつを解放してやってくれ
Set Kurisu free! All of a sudden, things about deleting makes me think of another game.
A certain game that involved deleting and having full control, didn't it? Didn't it?
Okie dokie!
Coming to me, Chris.
Ugh. I'm glad that was read in English. I don't really want to translate that one. Razor's fingers touched the keyboard. Silence. Nothing happened. There was no light or loud noise like the phone wave. Of course there wasn't. It was all going on inside her head.
どうなったんだ。
What happened?
Reyes. She was in the exact same position as when she touched the keyboard, completely unmoving. Did the memories download? I steel myself to take a closer look. And Reyes collapsed to her knees. The light hit her face and I could finally see her expression. Has she been lobotomized? There was nothing there. No light. No darkness. Nothing. Just hollow emptiness in her eyes. But that expression of joy she'd had when she touched the keyboard was frozen into her cheeks.
オカリンさん、その人は。
Ocarine. She...
早かったんだ。ダルの方が一瞬だけ。
Daru was faster. By just an instant.
And yep, as you say, Queen, Daru wins with a push of many buttons. He was tapping on the keyboard for days. It wasn't just one tap. And you say that delete reminds you of Death Note, eh, Queen? The folder had been emptied just before she downloaded the memories into her mind. She'd filled her head with emptiness, and now nothing was left. Not the memories she'd had before. Not her own history. Not her own desires. There was just an empty shell. There was just an empty shell. Kneeling on the ground as if praying to God. Ocarine.
Daru. よくやった。
Daru. You did it.
終わったよ。何もかも。
It's all over. Everything. I could hear Daru and Maho cheering from the earphone.
行こう、おじさん。いつまでもここにいるのは良くない。
Let's go, Uncle. It's not a good idea to stay here.
そうだな。係、歩けるか？
You're right. Kagari, can you walk? Yeah. The only things left were dead bodies and a living corpse. Amadeus, the girl on the other side of the machine, was gone. She was gone from this world. Along with the memories of the person I loved. I whispered softly to a girl who was no longer there.
また会おうな、クリス。
I'll see you again, Chris.
それじゃあ、マユシ、私たちまた来るね。
Okay, Maishi, we'll be back.
またね。
Okay, bye. Yeah, of course they're just going to leave Reyes. They don't know her. She's not their family. Why should they fucking care? It's pretty much the definition of, oh, well that's unfortunate, and walk off. She's not their problem.
ルカ君も今度一緒にコスプレしようね。
Luca, let's cosplay next time, okay?
その、考えておきません。
I'll think about it.
オカリンさんや皆さんもお邪魔しました。
Ocarine, everyone, thanks for having us over.
ああ、またいつでも来るといい。
Yeah, come back anytime.
どうした？
What is it?
オカリンさん、なんだか雰囲気変わりましたね。
Ocarine, you've kind of changed.
そうか。
Have I?
なんだか前よりずっととっつきやすくなった感じ。
Yeah, you seem a lot easier to talk to now.
もう、ふぶきちゃん、本人に向かって失礼だよ。
Come on, Fubuki. It's rude to say that to his face.
楓ちゃんだってさっき言ってたじゃん。
What? You were saying it too a minute ago, Kaede.
ちょっと。
Hey.
やれやれ。
Sheesh.
あ、それじゃあ私もそろそろおいとましますね。
Oh, then I guess I'll be leaving too.
今日もバイト？
You've got work again today?
はい、終わったら連絡します。週末の予定決めましょう。
Yep. I'll call you when I'm off. Let's make plans for this weekend. So, Avian, I'm hoping you're talking about the Japanese voice for Luca there rather than mine. Don't get me wrong, there are times where I want a voice like that when I'm playing certain characters, but dressed like this is not it.
オッケー。じゃ連絡待ってるよ。
Okay, I'll be waiting for you.
なになに、なんだにゃ。ダルニャン、ユキニャンとかなりいい感じだにゃ。
What? What's this? Darunian and Yukinyan seem like they're an item, yeah?
そう？ でもフェリスタンへの愛ももちろん変わらないのだぜ。
Do we? But my love for you will never change, Ferristan.
もう父さんたらまた
Come on, Dad, not again. It had been several days since then. All the chaos of Amadeus and Chris's memories had calmed down, and normal life had resumed. There had been no official announcements about what had happened in the basement of Tokyo Denki University. The next day, the basement had been sealed off because of what was described as a lab accident. Technically it was. The bodies of the soldiers wasn't a lab accident, but what happened to Reyes was, so it's technically true. Like maybe 5% of it? 3%? 2%? We'll call it 2%. The military, or maybe Stratfor, had covered it up. And since then, we hadn't seen anything strange going on around us. There should have been no traces that we were ever there. They probably weren't going to come after us.
それにしてもあれは何だったんだろう。
Anyway, what happened back there?
あれって
Back there?
あの女が係にマキセ・クリスの記憶をダウンロードしたときうまくいかなかったんだよ。
When that woman tried to download Makise Karisa's memories into Kagari, it didn't work, right? And as you say, Avian, yep, hide the truth within a lie. It's the best way to do it. Is, I suppose, mix the truth with lie and you get a middle ground that everyone seems to accept. As you say, Queen, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. We'll believe it. All 19 of us.
ただシステムがうまく作動しなかっただけじゃないん？
Think it was just a system error?
ダルニャンの言う通りだにゃ。考えすぎることないにゃ。
Darrenyan's right. You probably shouldn't overthink it, Nia.
そうなのかな。なんか気になるんだよね。
I don't know. It's been bothering me.
そういえばあの時。
Come to think of it, when that happened... Kagari seems to have been thinking of something. She opened her mouth to speak.
でも。
No, but...
ちょっと係言いかけて途中でやめないでよ。気になるだろ。
Come on, Kagari. Don't stop your sentence halfway through. You're just making me wonder more.
あの時声が聞こえたような気がするの。
I thought I heard a voice back then.
声？
A voice?
頭の奥で誰だかわからないけどダメって。
Yeah. There was someone in my head saying, no.
私あの時のことをほとんど覚えてないからただの夢か何かだったのかも。
I don't really remember all that happened. So maybe it was just a dream.
アマデウス。
Amadeus.
もしかしたらアマデウスじゃないかしら。
Could it have been Amadeus?
クリスが最後の最後で自分の記憶をカガリさんに上書きされるのを拒んだんじゃないかって。
Maybe at the last second she refused to allow her memories to overwrite Kagari's.
真帆にしてはロジカルじゃない意見だな。
That's not a very logical opinion to be coming from you, Maho. But Lukaku and Miyuri stared at each other when they heard Maho's words.
その僕たちが最後にアマデウスさんを起動した時なんですけど途中で通信が切られたんです。
The last time we activated Amadeus, the call cut off halfway through.
オカリンのボットさんが話してるのになんだかすごく慌てたみたいに切れたんだ。
Your bot was hard talking, but she seemed like she was in a really big hurry and hung up. Could that have been when it happened?
でもそんなことありえるの？
But is that possible?
わからないけどアマデウスにも人間と同じ自己防衛本能はあるはずよ。
I don't know, but Amadeus is just like a human. She has self-defense instincts.
だから 自分の記憶をよからぬことに利用されようとしているのに気づいてということも考えられなくはないわ。
So it's possible that she realized her memories were going to be used for something wrong. In a different world line, Chris's memories had once existed inside Kagari. Maybe Carissa would save Kagari from experiencing the same fate here. There may have been another reason, but at least that was what I wanted to think.
なあオカリン、僕も一個わからんことがあるんだけど。
Hey, Ocarine, there's something I don't understand too.
なんだ？
What's that?
オカリンの話だと、これまでアマデウスが原因で何度か世界線の変動があったんだろ？
You were saying that Amadeus caused a lot of world line changes before now, right?
でも僕たちがあの時のことを覚えてるってことは、今回は変動してないってことだよな。それはなんでなんだろう。
But if we still remember what happened, that means the world line didn't change, right? Why is that?
ああ、そのことか。
Oh, that. I'd thought about that right after what had happened.
おそらくだが、これまでの世界線の変動はアマデウスに対してアクションを起こしたことで、クリスの記憶が何者かの手に渡ったことが原因だと思われる。
This is just a guess, but I think whenever I'd done something involving Amadeus, it had caused Chris's memories to fall into someone's hands. Whoever had gotten the memories had used them to rewrite the past.
だが今回はその原因であるアマデウスとクリスの記憶そのものを消去した。原因が取り除かれれば、それによる世界線の変動は起きない。そういうことだろう。
But this time, we deleted Chris's memories, so that means there's no world line change. The cause of the battle between Stratfor and Durper was gone, and we'd gotten rid of the data that Chris had left behind. The future created by Chris's memories was gone, but Suzuha and Kagari were still here. If they were still here, then the future hadn't changed that much. Of course, I knew that. Unless I could reach Steins Gate, the world line convergence wouldn't change. But that didn't mean that this was for nothing. There was that small flash of insight I'd felt in 2036. This world was another step towards it.
これからどうするん？
So what's the plan now?
そうだな。いろいろやるべきことはあるが、その前に。
There's a lot to do, but first, I took something out of the pocket of my white lab coat.
さて、皆に俺からプレゼントだ。
I have a present for everyone.
これは
What's this? As you can see, it's the Labnam names all the way around.
ラボメンバージ。俺たち全員がこのラボのメンバーである証だ。
Lab member badges. It identifies every one of us as members of the lab. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. The badge had everyone's initials on it. Of course, Carissa and Moeka's were there too. I'd added Maho Hyajo, Shina Kagari, and Amane Yuki too. Accepting the past for what it was and connecting it to the future. That was my job right now.
ラボメ
A lab member? Kagari held the badge to her chest happily.
私の宝物一つ増えちゃった。
I've got another treasure now. The path that lay before me might be even harder than the one I traveled so far. But I knew the light was still there at the end of it.
私クリスとオカリンさんが仲良くなれた理由なんとなくわかる気がするわ。
I think I understand why Chris and Ocarin became friends.
私も父さんたちがどうしてあんなにもオカリンおじさんを頼りにしていたのかやっとわかった。
I finally realized why my dad and everyone else relied on him so much.
私もママがオカリンさんをずっと好きなのわかるな。
And I know why Mommy always loved him, too.
かがりちゃん違うよ。マユシーはオカリンの人質で だからそういうのとは。
Kakuri? That's not right. Mayoshi is Okari's hostage, so it's not like...
なんこれオカリンだけモテまくり許せんリアチェ爆発しろ
Wait, what? How come Okari gets all the chicks? Blow up and die! Dude, Okari never gets the girl, you do. In every timeline, you've got the girl. What are you getting jealous for?
父さんには母さんがいるでしょ
You've got mom, dad. Many different futures and many different pasts. Where they all converge, I know I'll find you. So...
ああ、俺だ。
Yes, it's me.
何？いつになったら助けに来るのか、だと。
What? When am I coming to save you?
慌てるな。今はまだその時ではない。
Don't panic. Now is not the appointed hour.
俺を誰だと思っている？いいか。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト。不安を隠居間に二言はない。
Who do you think I am? Listen, I am the mad scientist Hearn Kiyoma, and I never go back on my word.
だから、しばし待つがよい。
So for now, wait.
お前を絡め取るその時の呪縛から、いつか必ず、俺が助け出してやる。
I shall release you from the chains of time that bind you.
ああ、必ずだ。
Yes, I promise. Krisu, until the day comes that we meet. All that I have, I give to you.
プサイ、コングルー。
El, Sai, Kongaroo. December 2011. Akihabara. A year after all the chaos, Maho visited the Future Gadget Lab for the first time in a long while.
来た来た
Oh, she's here!
お久しぶりね、みんな。
It's been a long time, everyone.
真帆さんだ。すごく会いたかったよ。てってる。
Wow, it's Maho! I've missed you!
お久しぶりです、真帆さん。
It's good to see you again, Maho.
元気そうで何よりだにゃ。
I'm glad to see you're doing well, Nia.
みんな相変わらずで安心したわ。
It's good to see nothing's changed here.
そっちこそ変わってないね。
Yeah, looks like not much has changed with you either.
どうせ私は小さいわよ。
I know I'm still short, you don't have to tell me. Seriously, game, we're going back to that well?
そういう意味で言ったんじゃないって。
That wasn't what I meant.
わかってる。冗談よ。
I know, it was a joke. And it wasn't very funny. It was almost as bad as one of mine.
どうしたの？
Wait, what's wrong?
この一年、真帆さんに会えなくて寂しかったよ。
I've been so lonely without you for the past year, Maho.
ちょっと、そんな抱きつかなくても。
Wait, you don't need to grab me like that.
だって。
But...
ごめん。本当は夏にも来たかったんだけど、大学の方でもいろいろあって。
I'm sorry. I wanted to come back during the summer, but a lot happened at the university. The events of last January left deep scars on Maho's lab. Of course they had. Not only was Amadeus involved, but many people in the college, including Dr. Reyes, have been involved as well.
遠いところ、よく来てくれた、真帆。
Thanks for coming all this way, Maho.
当たり前よ。私だっていろいろと関わってきたんだもの。この目で見届けるのが務めだわ。
Of course. I was a part of this too. I've got a responsibility to see it to the end.
でも、本当にいいのか？この一年の後処理が無駄になるんだぞ。
But are you sure? All the cleanup work you did over the last year will go to waste.
無駄になんてならないわよ。第一、この世界の未来が過去につながるって言ったのはあなたでしょ？
It won't go to waste. You're the one who said this world's future would connect to the past.
だから私はこの世界で私がすべきことをやっただけよ。
So I've done what I can in this world.
ああ、そうだったな。
Yeah, you're right. I was supposed to die in 2025, but I was alive. Everyone had been fooled. The past me. Everyone in the future. The world had been deceived. I'd thought the future was certain, but instead I found a future I didn't expect. So, wouldn't I be able to deceive the world too? And by doing so, avoid the future that awaited us? And if I could deceive the world, maybe I could find Steins Gate. But how to do so, unfortunately, was beyond me right now. But the future me had said,
シュタインズゲート世界線への道は険しい。一度や二度やり直したところでたどり着ける道ではないだろう。
The path to Steins Gate is a hard one. Trying again once or twice probably won't get you there.
けれど、まずはそこから始めることがシュタインズゲートへとつながるんじゃないか。
But I think starting there is the best way to get to it.
いくつもの未来の先が過去へとつながっているんじゃないか。11年前、オカリンはそう言ってた。
I think many futures are connected to the past.
だからさ、僕たちがいるこの世界も無駄じゃない。きっと必要な世界なんだ。少なくとも今の僕はそう思ってる。
So this world we're in isn't wasted. It's a world that we need. At least, that's what I think. Many futures, all connected to the past. That meant there was only one thing for me to do.
橋田さん、例のものはちゃんとできたの？
Hashida, did you finish it?
もちろん、もう使えるはずだお。
Of course, it's ready to go. An old microwave sitting in the back of the development room. It was the time leap machine that Maho had helped me finish. Dara had added a new function to it.
それにしても、こんなものが世界の命運を握っていたなんてね。
Still, it's hard to believe that this thing controls the fate of the world. That's right. Everything began here. Our fate, and Chris's, had all been ruined by this device. The one difference between this and the old phone wave was that this was connected to a smartphone, not an old speakerphone. Text messages in the past would be detected by CERN no matter what I did, which meant we'd become a target. That would mean taking this world that I'd gain only at the cost of sacrificing Chris right back to where we started. There would be no point in that. But there were other ways to communicate now, beyond simple text messages. There were other ways to send messages. The software you use now, Line, was one of them.
名付けて D ラインってとこかな。
I call it the D-Line. Of course, the idea of using electrons at the CRT television in the Braun Tube workshop to control gravity and create a singularity to send the message back in time was the same. God, let's look at the tips. I actually didn't look at the Derpa one because I didn't like it so much. Yet, used here to denote the astrophysics term gravitational singularity. It refers to a place where gravity is infinite. However, the existence of such a singularity is only theoretical, and since the inside of a gravitational singularity would be impossible to observe, cannot be proven. A black hole singularity is the point created by the gravitational collapse of a star that has reached the end of its life. You can think of it as all the matter in a star with a radius of several million kilometers, compressed down into a space smaller than the period at the end of the sentence. Meanwhile, Derpa, they are fictional. Good. Apparently the American Defense Ultimate Research Projects Agency created to adapt the latest scientific technology for military purposes, reports directly to the President of the USA and the Secretary of Defense. Staffed by around 300 people, many of whom are non-military civilians, and since it reports directly to the Secretary of Defense, is kept free of direct military interference. Researchers in Derpa are given wide latitude to pursue projects they find interesting. During the days of its predecessor, ERPA, it was responsible for the development of ERPANET, which would later become the Internet, as well as the Global Positioning System. Apparently. I call horseshit. And the amount we could send was still 18 characters, same as the D-mail. But we didn't have to worry about CERN finding it. We didn't have to worry about Miyuri being killed. The only problem was that we couldn't send messages back before we started using Line. But there was nothing I could do about that. The most important thing to do right now was make it possible.
まったくどこにも補足されないようになんて注文つけるから結構大変だったのだぜ。
Sheesh. It was pretty hard to find a way to make sure no one would detect it.
抜け穴見つけるのにめっちゃ時間かかったんだからな。
It took forever to find the place they weren't watching. He complained, but he pulled it off anyway.
さすがだ。My favorite right arm.
That's my favorite right arm!
あ、何気に懐かしい響き。
Hey, haven't heard that in a while.
でもオカリン本当にいいの？
But are you sure about this, Ocarine?
そうだにゃ。またそのことで京奈が辛い思いをするんじゃないのかにゃ。
That's right. This may only bring me more pain, Kyoma.
かもしれないな。
Maybe you're right.
だったら
Then,
でもそれでも俺はやらなければならない。
but I have to do it anyway.
オカリンさん。
Ocarine. The Third World War was going to happen unless I could stop it. Kagami and Suzuha's presence made that obvious. There was only one future that lay before us, but it was another piece of the path that would lead us to Steins Gate. To get there, I would have to go into the past and start over. It would be fine. I was capable of starting over as many times as I needed to now. I could overcome anything. Until I reached the promised door. I already had the message I was going to send. Sending that message must have been why I'd come to this world line in the first place. Of course, I didn't know what I'd think or what I'd do when I received it. But I knew I would be successful. I would lead us to another future and to another past.
かがりさん、不安ですか？
Kagami, are you nervous?
だってもし過去が変わって平和な時代が来たらママと出会えなくなっちゃうかもしれない。
If the past changes and the world's at peace, maybe I'll never see Mommy.
かがりちゃん。
Kagami,
心配ない。
don't worry. Huh?
アトラクタフィールド理論では起こるべきものは必ず起こる。そう決まっている。
Attractor field theory says that what's supposed to happen will happen.
世界線が変わろうと君はマユリに出会うはずだ。
Even if the world line changes, you'll see Miyuri again.
本当？
Really?
ああ、俺が保証する。
Yes, I guarantee it. Mommy!
よかったね、かがりちゃん。オカリンが保証してくれたら安心だよ。未来でもきっと会おうね。
Isn't that nice, Kagami? Ocarine guarantees it, so I'm sure it's true. I'll see you in the future, okay? Yeah.
おじさん、ありがとう。
Thanks, Uncle.
礼を言われることじゃない。もともとは俺が蒔いた種だ。
There's no need to thank me. I sowed the seeds of all this anyway. And this was where things got really hard.
それでも言わせて。ありがとう。
No, let me say it anyway. Thank you.
そのセリフ、父さんにもプリーズ。
Say that to Daddy too. Please say it to your daddy.
父さんもありがとう。
Thanks, Dad.
もっと上目遣いで目をうるうるさせて言っておくれ、マイドーター。
No, not reading it. When the past changed, everything I'd done in the past year would be undone. all the futures I'd experienced and all the time it took me to come back would go away too. But they wouldn't go to waste. I was here now, and in the past. I was just about to begin my line of work. That's like Avian. That was my theory a long time ago. And then the future lay beyond. When all those lives came together, the door to the future would be waiting. Steins Gate would be waiting.
では行くぞ。鳳凰院教魔の名において、これより新たなるオペレーションヘルヘイムを開始する。ラボメン全員、準備はいいか？
It is time! In the name of her and Kiyama, I now initiate Operation Helheim! Lab members, are you ready? Well, it certainly appears they are, although you could have gone more widescreen and give us more of the characters, but never mind, eh? To find a way there, I would change the past again. Ah, now we get to see them all. I don't even need to translate that one. Chris, so that someday we can be together once more. Deceive the world. Connect the possibilities. The world can be tricked. And there we are. There's another ending that's now been unlocked. And that tells me that one of the routes somewhere is going to involve picking up that line and allowing Akabe to understand what he needs to do in order to deceive the world and lead everybody to Steins Gate. That's where we're at. I called it at the very start on the very first stream, but it's still nice because there's an old phrase that I've heard used many times, which is, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. And that's, I say, in terms of a satisfactory story, that was actually a lot better. I'm a bit annoyed at Dr. Reyes. That was kind of disappointing. I was hoping to see something more about one of the old projects. I just thought Reyes was a bit boring, really. But I will say props to the writing for when she started getting creepy around Kagari. That was a very, very cool scene in many ways. It reminded me of somebody else who likes to take control of people's minds from games. Although nowhere near as responsible, talented, responsible, controlling, psychotic, or possessive. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, Queen. That's the point, exactly. You know, it's like, for completion, it tells me I should go and explore the two chapters, the two endings that I think are out there. Because there's one when I picked up after really early to Amadeus, and that changed the, and that led to see Krisu. And then there was also the fact that I picked up there was one that I picked up, I can't remember which call it was. I think it was just after we'd had the chat with Kagari in Radican. So I get the feeling by leaving those two calls to bounce, there would be two endings and then finally the true ending. A lot of it's going to come down to you guys. Which way are we going to go? Because we've now got that ending unlocked, the D-line was sent. And as a result of that, we are at the point now where that ending is complete. So promised Rinashimento has been done. And obviously we've got a new item and new wallpaper sets and everything else all in there. So with that in mind, just to show you again, if I go to the clear list, you can see there we've got the Kariso ending, the Miyuri ending, and the Leskinen ending. So there's at least two more. There was at least three more even. I'm guessing there's the true ending, I'm guessing there's a Maho ending, and maybe a Kagari ending now, think about it. But either way, with that in mind, because we've got to an ending, and it's not where we're at, what we're going to do is we're going to park this for tonight, and we're going to come back in 2 nights' time. That's going to be back on Thursday at 8 PM GMT, where we're either going to divert towards the true ending, or set up two more. I think the completionist in me is leading me towards the latter. Either way, thank you all very, very much for watching, and good night.